Alright, what's going on everybody? So today I want to talk about what are macros, macronutrients, and how to track them. If you're getting into the fitness industry now, or you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or just kind of be healthier, you've probably heard that term float around a little bit, or IIFYM, if it fits your macros, flexible dieting. So let me just start generally here. What are macros or macronutrients, whatever you call them? For this video's sake, we're going to call them macros because it's just a shortened version. So macros are proteins, carbs, and fats. So every calorie is made up of those three things. So if you have something that's 500 calories, it's going to have a certain amount of proteins, a certain amount of carbs, a certain amount of fats. You're just going to want to look at the back of the label and you're going to see that breakdown throughout the course of that. A protein and a carb are 4 calories per gram, and a fat is 9 calories per gram. Okay, so you can do the math there, but those will add up. So you would multiply the amount of carbs by the amount of grams, the amount of proteins by the amount of grams. You can add those two together. Then you multiply the fats by the amount of grams, which is 9 calories, and you add all three together and they will equal that calorie number, or they'll be around that calorie number. Most companies round up or they round down. So that's a general consensus of what macros are. My general recommendation now of how to track your macros and the direction you should go with it is a general breakdown is, in my opinion, you should aim for 0.73 grams to 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, not total body weight, but your lean body mass for protein. I would aim for 0.2 to 0.4 grams of fat per pound of lean body mass, and fill in the blank with carbs. So you're going to hear a lot of different recommendations from people. Some people say 1.2 grams to 2 grams of protein. Honestly, it is a trial and error type of thing that you need to test out on your own, but these are scientifically proven that I have seen in many studies that I have also tested not only on myself but many of my clients, and these numbers work out very well about 95% of the time. There's always the one person or two people that it doesn't really work on, but you don't really know if they're following their diet entirely or following the macros and so on and so forth. That's the general consensus of what I would recommend you want to aim for. Now this is going to be different depending on, like which direction you should go. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to gain muscle, but I can talk about that in another video if you'd like. The step from there, now that you know what macros are and how, what exactly they are entirely, people want to know how to track them. So the next step going into this is download MyFitnessPal. There's a lot of different apps and tracking apps that you can use to kind of figure out what you are eating, how many macros you're eating, how many proteins, carbs, and fats. I recommend MyFitnessPal. Typically what people do is they download the app, they just scan the back of a barcode, and they type in their foods. The first thing I have anybody do is they just download the app and track what you had yesterday. Track what you had the day before that. That is going to then tell you a bunch of random numbers, but it's going to tell you exactly how many total calories you're eating at this current moment, what your current protein is at, what your current carbs are at, what your current fats are at. Now, if you're someone that's eating something different every single day, then you're going to have to track like a week in advance, and then you can add all of your proteins up for the week, all of your carbs up for the week, and all of your fats up for the week, and then divide it by 7 days. That's going to give you your general average of what you probably had for that week, and then that is now your average macro breakdown for the week, and that is kind of your starting point. So those numbers, depending on what your body is doing, is what's causing you to be at the body weight that you're at. So if you're maintaining at those, that is your starting point. That is now where your maintenance is. Also depending upon where your exercise and activity level are. So if you're wanting to lose weight, you're going to have to lower those macros or increase the amount of activity you're doing. If you're wanting to gain weight, then you're going to need to increase those macros or lower your activity. So now that you know how to track those macros and what macros are, the next step is how do you plan for changing your macros and trying to get yourself closer to the general recommendation that I said. What I would always tell people is go into MyFitnessPal and plan for the night the next day. So, for example, you hire a coach, they give you your macros, or you use a macro calculator or something, and you figure out what your macros should be for the next day. My recommendation for anybody to stay on track is download the app, type in what you're wanting to eat the next day, and then adjust your food choices to try to hit those macros for the day prior. Too many people that just get into tracking macros, they try to wing it the day of, and they typically set themselves up for failure because they're too new. They don't know how to do this entirely. So, like I said, download the app, track what you want to have the next day, and adjust your food choices, and then boom, you just made yourself a meal plan. So, kind of wrapping this video up, now that you know how to do all of this, none of it is perfect, guys. There's trial and error involved in this, and you need to know that this isn't going to happen overnight. Like, yes, I told you what my general recommendations are, what macros you should aim for, and how to adjust things. Well, I didn't talk about how to adjust things, I talked about in another video, but kind of how to get yourself from where you are now and figure out where you are now to how to get yourself to more of a recommended guideline, and how to actually track your things. But to actually figure this out and get really good at it, it's going to be trial and error, and you're going to have to figure it out over time, and don't expect to just get it right away. It's like riding a bike. You're not going to figure it out the very first time. You have training wheels, you take the training wheels off, you fall a couple times, and you learn, and that's just a part of the process. So, yeah, hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions, if you want me to go into more detail about anything else, let me know in the comment section below. I wanted to kind of keep this video pretty short and concise and to the point, and just try to keep it super informative, not biased or not kind of leaning in any direction, like how to lose fat, how to gain muscle. I just really wanted to make it very informative, very information based, and just tell you what macros are, how to track them, and kind of how to get started with it all. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, leave a comment. If it helped you and you think it could help somebody else, please share the video. It would be appreciated. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It shows that these videos are appreciated and I should make more like them. But besides that, that's all I got. Talk to y'all later. See you in the next one.